Hey, it's Jonathan McGinley, the owner and founder of Intentional Man, an organization that exists to inspire and equip Christian men to live intentionally, pursue God-sized goals, and build lives of significance. Let me ask you a question as we get started today. How long is your typical to-do list? And you might keep one master to-do list with a ton of items, or maybe you just make a to-do list on a daily basis, but how long is that list? And for most people, it's not unusual to have 10 to 20 items, or sometimes even more on their to-do list. I was actually talking to a guy recently who said he had literally over 150 items on his master to-do list. And as you can imagine, he was feeling completely overwhelmed. He had no idea where to start, and even when he did knock out some of the items, it felt like by the time he was done with those, the list had grown even more. Can you relate to that? Have you experienced a season in your life where you've felt like you were always behind? Maybe you're even in that season right now. And not too long ago, I wanted to revamp some of my marketing processes. And so I wrote down a list of all the things I felt like I needed to do to get done for this initiative. And so I wanted to do some of the pages on my website, revamp some social media platforms, record marketing videos, create resources, and so on and so on. And I thought it'd be a great idea to just dump all the tasks I had to do on a spreadsheet so I could really just clearly see everything that needed to be done. And that can be a helpful exercise to get some clarity, but I went wrong by not giving each of those items tangible deadlines and breaking them down into manageable bite-sized chunks. And so I kept just looking at this list and feeling completely overwhelmed because there was just so much to do. There was so much to do, it felt intimidating, and it made me not really want to do any of it. And when things feel way too big like that, oftentimes you're going to struggle to find motivation. When things feel overwhelming, you're going to have to deal with a lot of unnecessary stress. It's hard to even know where to start sometimes. When you're staring at a long list, even when you do a few things, it feels like you always could have done more, and that starts to wear on your confidence and your motivation over time. And when things feel overwhelming, which tasks do you usually gravitate towards? It's usually the easy tasks, right? You want to feel like you're making progress, so you start working on the easiest things first, the ones that you can just get done the quickest. But the problem with this approach is that oftentimes those items are not the most important items. A lot of times they're things you probably didn't even really need to do in the first place, or you could have automated them or delegated them to somebody else. And so this can lead to where you're busy all the time, but you're not necessarily effective. You're working really hard, but you're not necessarily moving the needle in your life. And that's one of the most frustrating places to be, right? Where you feel like you're working extremely hard, but you're not necessarily seeing progress. Or where you did 5 things on your list, but you still see that you have 5 items to get done, and so you don't feel like it was really a good day. Or the worst case, you just get paralyzed by all the items on your list that you just distract yourself all day with things like email or social media. And I've experienced all 3 of those scenarios. It's really frustrating. So how do you actually break out of this? How do you stop the stress and the overwhelm? And I want to give you 2 helpful exercises today that you can immediately implement that's going to help you feel more in control of your task list, feel more productive each day, to help you narrow your focus to the most important tasks, and then to gain some momentum. So the first one, this was introduced to me by Michael Hyatt in his Full Focus Planner. And he recommends starting each day with what he calls your daily big 3. So your big 3 are the top 3 outcomes you need to accomplish that day that are going to truly make the biggest impact on your life. So you take time the night before, or maybe first thing in the morning, and you ask yourself, what are the 3 things I could do that would truly have the greatest impact on my life? So you identify the 3 things that are going to produce the greatest results, and then you commit to doing those 3 things for the day. Listing only 3 things, that might not feel like you're being quite as productive as if you had a list of 10. Sometimes it feels weird at first, but it forces you to get crystal clear on the actions that are truly going to make the biggest difference. So you really zero in on the things that truly matter the most. And if you do those things that day was a win. If you don't do those things, then you kind of learn what got in the way and you make sure you hit your 3 the next day. So this daily big 3, this has been a game changer in my life. I'm kind of a person who's really competitive, and I'll get frustrated with myself if I don't do everything that I said I should have done. So when I had 10 things on my to-do list, I could have done 7 of them, but I would still beat myself up for not getting 3 of them done. And that kind of attitude always puts you in a deficit and in a negative headspace. In reality, I did 7 things, and that's amazing, but I don't feel like I'm making progress because I didn't do the 3. But there's nothing that boosts your confidence and your satisfaction like progress. And there's nothing that drains your energy and your motivation like feeling like you're failing or falling behind. So when you narrow your task list down to 3 things that you know are the most important, and then you knock those things out first, you're going to experience a great deal of satisfaction. You're going to start to feel a lot of momentum in your life. And you can consider that day a big win. If you have a list of 20 things to do and you know you're never going to be able to do them all, you're not going to end the day feeling like you won. And that's a big deal over time. It starts to wear on you. It doesn't just boost your satisfaction and your confidence, though. It truly helps you be more productive when you establish your big 3. So what's more productive? What do you think? Doing 3 things that truly moved you closer towards your long-term vision and your goals, or doing 7 easy tasks that didn't really make a difference? I think you know the answer, right? The 3 important items are going to be the things with the biggest difference. Author Jim Collins has a great quote where he says, if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. Right? When you have more than 3 things, you get diluted focus. And when you have diluted focus, you're going to get diluted results. So having 3 things each day is going to help you really stay locked in and focused for the day. And then if you finish your 3 tasks early, you can then move on to some of the other tasks if you like. But either way, you know that day was a win because you did the 3 things that mattered the most. So I'd encourage you to just give this a try. I'm confident it's going to help eliminate some of the overwhelm in your life. Anyone can finish 3 tasks in a day. So if you identify what matters most, you commit to doing them, then you put them on your schedule, and then you just focus and you knock them out. It's going to make a huge difference. Okay, the other practice I want to recommend kind of goes hand in hand with this one, and that's finishing your day by identifying 3 wins at the end of the day. So like I mentioned, nothing fuels motivation and progress more, or motivation and satisfaction more than progress. But it's so easy to never actually let yourself celebrate progress because you're too focused on what still needs to be done, or on all the ways that you failed that day, or that you didn't live up to your own expectations. It's also so easy to compare yourself to other people and feel like you aren't actually progressing or getting better, and that becomes really discouraging. Recently, I've been spending a lot more time practicing the drums, and I've carved out time each day to work on things that I need to improve on. And one of the things that kills my motivation the most is when I start to compare myself to others who are ahead of me. I could have a great day practicing, feel like I made progress, and then I get on social media and I see somebody else who's a lot better than me, and then all of a sudden I'm kind of in a negative headspace. And it makes me feel like I'm not very good, or that today's practice didn't matter that much. But the days where I do the work and sense my progress and compare myself to my former self, those are the days where I truly feel excited and feel like I'm getting better. When I compare, I lose motivation. When I track progress and only compare myself to myself, I gain motivation. It's too easy to either compare yourself to others or to be focused on everything else that needs to be done that you forget to take time to celebrate the progress that you've made. And I think that's a huge missed opportunity. Would you rather go to sleep each night feeling like a failure because you weren't as good as others? Or would you rather go to sleep proud of the work you did that day and the progress that you made? Would you rather go to sleep stressed out about all the things that you need to do tomorrow? Or go to sleep satisfied that you did your best and that you made progress today? And that's why I recommend implementing the practice of identifying 3 wins for the day before you go to bed. Ending the day with those 3 wins puts you in a state of momentum. It gives you the sense that you're really progressing and moving towards your dream. So if you did your daily big 3, those could be your 3 wins right there. It could also be something else. It could be the attitude that you had that day. It could be how you treated somebody. It could be the fact that you skipped the temptation to grab fast food and instead ate a healthy meal at home. You can even turn your mistakes that day into wins if you turn them into lessons. So if you accidentally did go and eat that fast food when you didn't want to, and then you took time to actually kind of break it down and learn why the mistake happened, then you can learn to not make that mistake again. You can know that if after work you're super hungry and you're super tired, that's the time where you usually make bad decisions. So maybe the next day you can pack a snack that you can eat in the late afternoon to keep you from being so hungry when you get off work. That would be a win, right? You're now better equipped with a tool that you can implement the next day to help you not make that mistake again. So even mistakes can be wins as long as you turn them into lessons. Finishing the day by identifying 3 wins is going to help you put you in a state of gratitude, and feeling good, being grateful, and feeling like you're making progress are all essential to your confidence and to your happiness. So there you go. You now have 2 simple things that you can do each day to keep you focused and motivated. So you take your time to identify your big 3, and you do those 3 things the first part of the day. Right away, you hit those 3 things. Then at the end of the day, you take a few minutes to just write down 3 wins for the day to make sure you finish on a high note. So I hope today was encouraging and helpful. Please share this with somebody else if you think they might benefit from it. I appreciate you joining me today. You're made to do something great. I believe in you. You have what it takes to live intentionally and to pursue your God-sized goals. So go live a life you're proud of by living intentionally.